All right, so we're starting on the Unit 7 study guide. This starts on page 28 of your unit packet, starting with topic 1, interior angles of polygons. So first of all, it asks what the formula for the sum of the interior angles of a polygon is. Look back at your notes and choose the correct formula. So hopefully you chose that the correct formula for the sum of interior angles of a polygon is S equals 180 times the number of sides minus 2. And that is the formula that you use anytime you see the words sum of the interior angles. Sum of the interior angles. Number 2 says, what is the formula to find the measure of each interior angle? Go ahead and choose that formula now. All right, so hopefully you chose that each interior angle is equal to 180 times n minus 2 divided by n. And that is how much each interior angle will measure, each interior angle of a regular polygon. That word each is that word that gives away that formula. Number 3, it says find the sum of the interior angles of a 35gon. So go ahead and figure that out using the formula from number 1. All right, and hopefully you saw that you did S equals 180 times 35 minus 2. And using your calculator, if you do 180 times 35 minus 2, you get 5,940 degrees for those angles. All right, taking a look at number 4, 6 angles of a heptagon. Heptagon meaning 7 sides. So 6 of those angles measure 107, 139, 131, 110, 145, and 128. What is the measure of the 7th angle? So first, we need to figure out how much all of the angles should equal. So we have to find the sum of all of the angles. So we do 180 times heptagon is 7 minus 2. And 180 times 7 minus 2 gives us 900 degrees. And now figure out what that 7th angle is equal to. So you should have done 900, which is all of those angles together, 900 minus all of the rest of these angles. So minus 107, minus 139, minus 131, minus 110, minus 145, and minus 128, and that gives you 140 degrees for that 7th angle. All right, looking at number 5, if the sum of the interior angles of the polygon is 3780, how many sides does it have? So this is when they give you the S value and you have to figure out what N is. So the sum of the angles is 3780. And that equals 180 times n minus 2. Figure out how many sides that has now. So hopefully you divided everything by 180. So you took 3,780 divided by 180, and you got 21. So 21 equals n minus 2. And then you added 2 to both sides and got that this polygon has 23 sides. All right. Number 6 says, what is the measure of each interior angle of a regular 18gon? Now it's asking us for each interior angle. So we're using this formula right here where there's 18 sides. So each angle would be 180 times 18 minus 2 divided by 18. So we do 180 times 18 minus 2 divided by 18. And each one of those angles is 160 degrees. All right, the next one says solve for x. So in order for us to solve for x, we first have to know how much all of these are supposed to equal up to together. So the first thing we need to do is find out the sum of all of these angles. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 angles. So 180 times 8 minus 2 is equal to 1,080 degrees. So all of these added together should add up to be 1,080 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. So I have 10x plus 9x makes 19x. 19 plus 7x makes 26x. 26x plus 9x makes 35x. And 35x plus 8x makes 43x. So we have 43x. And then I'm going to combine my other like terms. 139 minus 11. So we'll go ahead and keep a running total here. 139 minus 11 plus 121 minus 17 plus 6 plus 153 minus 14 plus 15 equals 392. So 43x plus 392 equals 1080. Go ahead and solve for x now. So the first thing we should have done is 1080 minus 392. And that gives us 688. So 43x equals 688. Divide by 43. And we get that x is equal to 16. All right. For the next one, it says solve for x. Now, when we see all of those lines on this pentagon, we know that that means that all of those angles are equal, okay? All of those angles are equal. And there are 5 angles here. So 5 angles means that each angle, 180 times 5 minus 2 divided by 5, each one of these angles should be 108 degrees. So each one of these angles is going to equal 108. So that means that 7x plus 31 equals 108. Go ahead and solve for x now. So we should have done 108 minus 31, and we should have gotten 77. Divide by 7, and x equals 11. All right, now let's go to topic 2 and talk about the exterior angles of polygons. So number 9 here says, what is the sum of the exterior angles of any polygons? Please answer that question now. No matter how many sides a polygon has, the sum of the exterior angles is always going to be 360 degrees, no matter what. For number 10, what is the measure of each exterior angle of a regular non-agon? So non-agons have 9 sides. So we should do 360 divided by 9, and that equals 40 degrees for each angle. For number 11, it says if the exterior angle of a regular polygon is 24, how many sides does it have? All right, here we should have done our 360 degrees divided by that 24 degrees, and that is 15 sides that this polygon has. Last, number 12, if the interior angle, and now we're back to interior angles. Notice that change of words. In all of these other problems, we were dealing exterior, exterior, exterior. Now we're back to interior. Make sure you pay attention to those words. If the interior angle of a regular polygon is 162, how many sides does it have? So now the interior angle is 162, and we're solving for n. So we set that equal. 162 equals 180 times n minus 2 divided by n. Multiply both sides times n. So you end up with 162n equals 180 n minus 360 because we distributed, and go ahead and solve that for n now. We should have subtracted 162n from both sides and gotten 18n equals 360, and 360 divided by 18 is 20 sides. All right, For this final question on this page, number 13 says solve for x. Now, we know that all of these angles on the outside added together has to equal 360 degrees. So if we add all these together, they better equal 360 at the end. So let's go ahead and add all of our like terms just like we did before. So I'm going to do my x's first, keep a running total here. So 11 plus 4 plus 6x plus 9x equals 30x. So that should be 30x all right, and then the rest of this, again, keep a running total. Negative 5 plus 29 plus 61 plus 13 minus 15 plus 67 equals 150. Go ahead and solve for x now. We should have done 360 minus 150, and that gives us 210. So we have 30x equals 210. Divide by 30, and x is equal to 7. All right, that takes us to the end of page 28. Let's continue. On page 29, now we're going into parallelograms. And we will finish out, let's see. Yeah, we'll finish out this page on 29, and then we'll do the next 2 pages in the next video. So we'll finish out number 17. We're omitting 18. We're not doing that one. So we'll finish out 17 here and go to the next video. All right, number 14 says if EBCD is a parallelogram, EB is equal to 16. Now, if EB is equal to 16, we automatically know that means that DC is also equal to 16. That answers that question right there. If ED is 25, what other side also has to be 25? Hopefully you said BC. If BF is 11, what other side do we also know has to be 11? Hopefully you said FD. And if FD is 11, BD is 22. Then it tells us that EC is 34. If EC, which is this whole diagonal right here, is 34, what is FC? Hopefully you said that 34 divided by 2 is 17, so it is 17. All right, now we get into the hard part. We get into the angles. First thing it tells us is that the measure of angle BED is 55 degrees. BED is 55 degrees. So that's this whole angle down here is 55 degrees. That also means that angle C up here has to be 55 degrees. And then remember that these two angles right here have to add up to be 180 degrees. So 180 minus 55 means that that whole corner up there is 125, which means that this corner down here is 125 as well. All right, so that answers our first question right here, angle EDC. EDC is 125 degrees. Now we've got to figure out the rest of these. It tells us that angle CDB is 67 degrees. CDB, that's this piece right here. And remember, if that piece is 67 degrees, what other piece is also 67 degrees? Hopefully you said EBD right up here. And now we can figure out what these other two angles are. What is angle DBC going to be? What is this angle right here going to be? Hopefully you did 125 minus 67 and got 58 degrees. So that angle is 58 degrees. All right, the last thing that it gives us is angle BEC is 24. So BCE is this piece right here that's 24 degrees. All right, and we are looking for angle BEC. BEC is this piece right here. Figure out what that piece is. Hopefully you did 55 minus 24. And you got 31 degrees. That means that this piece right here is 31 degrees, which also means that this piece on top is 31 degrees as well. All right, moving on to number 15. Number 15 says, find the measure of angle N. All right, so first of all, taking a look at what we have, we know that these two angles are equal to each other. And if we can solve for x, we can plug it back in, and then we know that n and k have to add up to be 180. So then whatever k is, I can subtract and get angle n. So 8x plus 17 equals 12x minus 39. All right, let's go ahead and solve this for x, and then you're going to go ahead and tell me what the measure of angle n is. So go ahead and answer the question entirely. So we should have subtracted 8x from both sides and gotten 4x here. We should have added 39 to both sides, and 39 plus 17 is 56. Divide by 4, and x is 14. But that doesn't help us. We got to plug that back in. So 8 times 14 plus 17 is 129 degrees. So angle K is 129 degrees. Now remember, K and N have to add up to be 180. So 180 minus 129 gives us that angle N is equal to 51 degrees. All right, question 16 says find the measure of angle R. Remember, angle R is equal to angle T. So if we know what angle T is, we'll know what angle R is. And remember that these two angles have to add up to be 180 degrees. Go ahead and figure out what the measure of angle R is now. All right, so these have to add up to be 180. So we add them together. 5x minus 6 plus 14x minus 4 equals 180. All right, combine like terms. 5x and 14x makes 19x. Negative 6 and negative 4 make negative 10, and that equals 180. Add 10 to both sides. 19x equals 190. Divide by 19, and x equals 10. But we're not done yet. We have to plug that back into t so we know what angle R is. So 14 times 10 minus 4 gives us 140 minus 4, which is 136 degrees. So angle R equals 136. All right, last question for this video. In parallelogram ABCD, ED is equal to 7x minus 13. That's that little piece right there. BD is equal to 16 minus 38. Now remember, BD is this whole diagonal. So BD is equal to 2 times ED. Solve for x and plug that back in to find what BD is now. In order to solve for x, BD is 16x minus 38 is equal to 2 times ED, which is 7x minus 13. Distribute 16x minus 38 is equal to 14x minus 26. Subtract 14x from both sides and gives us 2x. Add 38 to both sides, and 38 minus 26 is 12. Divide by 2, and x is equal to 6. And then plug that back into BD because that's what we're looking for. So 16x, so 16 times 6 minus 38. 16 times 6 is 96, minus 38 is 58. So BD is equal to 58. All right, that is the end of video 1. Video 2, we'll start back with number 19 on page 30.